Hello everybody and welcome back to Emily's Upcycled Home. To shop my items, please click on the links in the comments. Follow me on my business page and that link will be in the description. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And let's move on to project number 1. And we're going to be working with a cabinet door. And I printed out this piece of art here, lemon, with some flour and a jar. And I got this print off of Etsy. Pretty sure if you type in lemons, a lot of pics will come out. Now this is going to be a layering piece, and I'm going to start here with my base coat with this linen color by Folk Art. And I'm just going to go over the whole piece with this color, going around the picture and kind of coming in and blending in the edges of the art piece. Now I did decoupage this piece, and after everything's done, I'll come in with my iron and seal that really well and get out whatever wrinkles are in there. Now this is the second coat of paint coming in here with that same linen, and I'm trying to add some texture by going in a crisscross pattern. And now this color is like a khaki brown color, and that is still the same Oops paint that I've been using. Now here, all my paint is still wet, and I'm hoping that, as I work, some of the distressing will happen naturally with the brush pulling off some of the paint. Now I'm coming in with the wax brush here, and I'm making sure that my brush is damp to the touch so that I can blend it easily. And here I'm coming in to pull in that blue from the picture onto the outer rim of the frame here. And the color I'm using here is DIY paint in the color Bohemian Blue. And you don't need a lot of this color. This color is very heavily pigmented, and little goes a long way. And once again, my brush is still damp here. And if your brush gets a little dry, go ahead and damp it out. Add a little bit of water to dampen it again. And, if you have that mister bottle here, this is where it would come in handy. I need to still pick one up. Now here I'm just going in still with that same Bohemian Blue color. And I'm going to hit all the outside of the frame, blending that blue into the brown and the little tan color. And I'm going to continue adding that Bohemian Blue all around the edges, and I will keep blending. Here I'm going to come back in with that same linen color and hit all the spots again, blending again. And you're going to see a repeat pattern. I'm just blending those colors in. And I want to give this piece a layered look. So I'm going to come in with some Prima transfers, label transfers in this color, taupe color. And they are French labels, and I also get these off of Etsy. And I'm just going to cut the second one in half and place it on the top. And to layer some more and to add some depth, I'm going to come in with that distressed ink in the color walnut. And I'm going to hit all the edges and all the corners wherever I want it a little bit more distressed in age. And then I'm going to come in with my blending brush and blend all those pieces in. To add our wording here, I'm going to come in with the IOD Pots transfer label, and I'm just going to piece together a sign that I want and place the pieces wherever you feel comfortable. They don't have to be exactly the same. Just work with your item that you're working on and figure out how you want your layout to be. To seal in this piece before I add my transfers on, I'm going to use DIY Big Top, and I'm going to go ahead and go around the print and adding this. Now I did have a layer of Rust-Oleum matte sealer on this before, so that distress ink didn't run. Now here I'm just adding my transfers on any way that you want. Just put your transfers to make your your sign. It doesn't have to be exactly how the transfers are laid out. Lay out your own version and come up with a new design. And we're going to go ahead and jump into project number 2. I have this chicken wire basket that I thrifted a while ago. Remember, I'm going through my hoard because I'm not really too mobile here, so I'm not able to thrift. So I'm going to come in here with that same linen color, and I'm just going to hit all the chicken wire, the outside, the inside, and the handles with this light brush stroke of that linen paint. And then I will seal this, and then we'll move forward. So I have some scrap label prints already printed out on cardstock here, and I'm choosing this little lemon tree pick, and I'm just cutting it to size, and I'm going to make it into a tag so that I can hang off this little basket. Now I'm just trimming it, and I'm going to punch the hole, trim the edges, how the corners how I want, and then of course I can't just leave it like that. So I'm going to come in with some stamps and some distress ink and go ahead and add my little flavor to it. I gave this basket a spray of Rust-Oleum sealer to protect that layer of paint. And now I'm going to come in with our little label we made here, and I'm trying to make it so that I can add that greenery and the tag all in one so I don't have to glue the greenery on. And I'm just going to come in here and tie it in a knot and then trim off the excess of the twine there. So I have this little jar that it's just a pickle jar that I'm going to use because I was just going to use just the basket and just post it like that. But you know me, I have to add all the fixings to it. And I'm going to come in here with this little bouquet of flowers that I created and tie a rubber band around the bottom. And then I'm going to come in with some twine and layer that just in case you want to take this apart and lay them around. Your bouquets are ready for that. And to add some height and more texture to this piece, I'm going to fill it up with some moss at the bottom, feather out my greenery here, my flowers, and then this project is done. Moving on to project number 3, and that is just this pickle jar here. Now, like I said, I had so many of those labels printed out. I'm trying not to waste them. So I'm going to come in here and we're going to make another, lemon pattern bird, a bird with lemons onto this jar using that same technique that we did on the cabinet door on project number 1. And I'm just coming in with that same linen color paint and folk art, and I'm just going to go ahead and layer this first coat of paint onto this jar. Make sure your jars are really clean so your paint sticks. And then after this first coat, I like to spray with the Rust-Oleum spray paint to seal all that first coat in. Now I lost some footage here, but this is the pic I printed out and had extra of, and it is on rice paper. And I'm going in here and I'm just decoupaging that print to this jar. And then I'm going to come in here with our second coat of that linen color and just kind of go over and feather in the edges of our print so that it looks a little bit more naturally transitioned in with the paint. And then we're going to go over and hit all the jar with our second coat, going around and just randomly hitting it, going one direction then the other, kind of to add some our own texture with just the paint. If you notice here at the base of this picture, the paint's getting pulled off by me hitting it against and rolling it against the paper. But I'm just going to go ahead and use that. We're going to work with it. And I'm going to let it be a little distressed on its own, that natural distress with the paint having to be pulled off the with the paper hitting on it. Now that was the first mistake. Second mistake here, did you see me place my jar into that paint that I have on that paper? That's the second mistake here. But mistakes, sometimes they work out, you guys. Sometimes you just continue on and they make your project a little different, and you work with it. So now it's going to be a little bit more distressed, chippy paint at the base. And we're going to come in here with that same bohemian blue and blend in that color. And you're going to see me once again blend in, add paint, take off paint, add in some more texture, add some ink here. And we're going to kind of just repeat that process, working with all our imperfections and the mistakes that I made here, giving this jar a different look as I go. So here I'm going to come in with my wax brush, and I'm going to use a pouncing method here to add some texture to the jar and blend in that paint. Now, if you didn't notice, oops, number 3, my brush that I was adding the paint to still had blue on it. So while I was working on the rim, there was blue paint smeared in there as well. But once again, I'm just going to go with it. And here I go. I'm going to continue on with that pouncing method, moving it into that blue paint, and then working that in so that it blends more naturally. So here we have our natural distressing here and our textured where the layers kind of built up, and I like that look. And I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and then we're going to come in with some distress ink and add that to our piece. Now I'm going to come in with this distress ink, and I'm trying to add this color walnut here into all of those little spaces that the paint got pulled off, so they can have a darker tone there. And when I went to go add some, I had a little bit of lines in there, so now I'm blending. So that was mistake number 4. So we're just going to go ahead and blend that in, and I am still going to add in that darker tone on spots. And you can see that once again I'm working with wet paint, so as I'm blending here, some of the paint is getting pulled off. And once again, we're going to work with that. We're going to leave that distressing, that natural chippy look, and that age look that we're creating here. Not purposely, but it works out for us in the end. And I'm just going to go around this piece here and just add as much as this walnut stain and ink that I want to add using my little blending brush tool here. And once again, you can find these tools as well as this ink on Amazon, and I also got mine at Hobby Lobby. So if you have a Hobby Lobby, you can find them there as well. Now I'm going to come in darker here on the rim of the piece and just kind of do the same thing I did to the bottom, fade it downward into the piece, blending again with that same tool. And then hopefully, you guys, I just let this dry and sit here, but that's not what happens, because I try to go around here and add some more around the corners of the art piece, and then it pulls off more paint here, because as I come in with the Rust-Oleum, not the Rust-Oleum, the DIY paint, see all that ink is smearing, so it's not a permanent ink, I believe, unless I'm just not waiting for it to dry completely. But I'm kind of going to work with that, and we're just going to dab, making more texture on this paint, working with that same mistake again. And after this, I decide to add more ink, and then I spray it with the Rust-Oleum sealer to seal in that the walnut ink that I add again. Now here I'm just dabbing with my paper towel, and it's making texture here, and it's adding streaky, but it's also pulling off too much. So I go ahead and go in again with my distress ink, and there is oops number 4, and it's pulling off more of that paint. But once again, I'm going to work with it. Sometimes your pieces transform into something different, and sometimes they don't. And I like to work with the process and let it happen, and let all those imperfections be, and come in here and kind of highlight it, like them as if I wanted them there on purpose. So I'm just going to continue layering here, and then you see me go over in those spots where the paint came off with a little heavier hand and a darker ink color there. Project number 4. So project number 4, I just have these little pieces of wood here, and I thought like I could make a little little sign here, or a little wood piece for staging and to add next to the jar. And I'm just placing these together, and I'm going to add some wood glue in there. And so that I can work with it easier, I went ahead and just nailed in a 3-inch nail to combine those pieces. And then I'm coming in with that same linen paint. Now I have some more print on rice paper, and I'm just going to add one of those prints that I have extra here, and make a little, I guess, a tray sign, a layer tray sign. And I'm just going to clip out this rice paper form here, and I'm going to decoupage that to our piece here. So I want that crease to be exposed, and I try to come in with my scissors, but it was just ripping it. So then I decided to come in with my nail and just push in that paper into the crease so that it separates the two pieces of wood. And to finish up this project, I'm just going to add a little bit of stamps here. And these are just pieces from my IOD crockery stamps. And here are our finished projects. link in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.